What's up, guys? So I came across this video called Y2K Millennium Aesthetic Analysis. I'm not gonna lie, I watched some of it and I was just so fascinated by it that I feel like I needed to stop watching it mid video and basically react to it live because I had so much things to say about it. So this aesthetic, I have noticed it recently, the Y2K aesthetic with the I noticed it a little bit, but not like prevalently. But I kind of noticed it. I guess no, I no honestly, it's not that it's so much that I noticed it currently. It's more that recently I've been having nostalgia for this era with the Y2K. I kind of saw like Cheetah Girls. Um, I watched a YouTube channel that kind of captured this aesthetic pretty well. I'll put that on real quick. It is. This one. Wait, let me. No, it's not that. That's the video. That's the actual video. It's called Synthetic. Just looking for it. Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. Yeah, this channel's pretty fire. This is person that I I know her initially from like creating like desk setups, and her aesthetic was like it really spoke to me. Like it, this is not indicative of my setup, but like her aesthetic is something that mentally I align with this, but I haven't been able to capture this myself because I don't have like the financial means to get this aesthetic. But I I I just understand her aesthetic for some reason. It just resonates with me. So it kind of reminds me of it's definitely futuristic even in 2023. The colors resonate with me, like the lavender, like lavender's my favorite color with the gray. I think this might be the first video I watched but, but just like the futuristic, the tech. Why are you slow right now? You're never this slow. You gotta be kidding me. Okay. Yeah, hairstyle is just on point. Like it's just like the gray, like the light gray with the lavender and the futuristic tech. Like it's just on point. Like I get I wouldn't make my aesthetic exactly like this, but I get it. I just understand it. Mechanical keyboard with the accent lavender, the dark gray, and the I just get it. Like I just understand. Like I get it. The futuristic. She got this down pat. She just got it down pat with the T. I get it. The speakers. I just understand it for some reason. Yeah. So this is like the this I know she's not specifically going for the Y2K aesthetic, but she kind of has the Y2K aesthetic, even if it's like accidentally. Like it's just this is what people were thinking of. Like it's just and it's like come to life. Like the keyboard, this didn't exist back in 2000. This didn't exist back in 2000. The keyboard, like she's kind of living what people figured what the Y2K aesthetic was about. Like they kind of figured this would exist. So the screens and the multiple screens, like the she's living out the Y2K aesthetic in real life. Like, yeah. So I guess from watching her, YouTube recommended me a video because I wasn't even looking for this video, but like I saw the thumbnail with Lisa Lopez or RIP. You know, just the PlayStation and that thumbnail got to me, like the Y2K font with the Millennium. Like this thumbnail was good because I get I get what they were trying to say with this thumbnail, and they got to me with this. So it worked obviously. And then watching like the preview, like this guy like is breaking down. He said a visual nostalgia trip back to the late 90s. He's like breaking it down, and I watched a lot of it. I watched like 27 minutes of it. He's breaking this shit down to a science. Like I figured there was a science to it, but like I didn't know it was that deep. Um, he's like breaking it down. So I figured let me live stream because I had a lot of like things to say about this. So I was like, let me just react to this live. It's like I resonate with this aesthetic. Like I just get it. So yeah, Y2K Millennium Aesthetic Analysis, Techno Utopian Futurism of early 2000s by Aestheti. I don't know. Yeah, it seems like he does different aesthetics, but like the way his his background, his setting is set up is like my thing is either A, he likes this aesthetic so much that he created the room like prior to even thinking about this video, he created the room to match the aesthetics. Like he was so in love with this aesthetic that he already made the room like this. Or B, he just did an excellent job of capturing the aesthetic of his background. And it's like that's really cool that he actually like even in making this video, he like let me see. I'm playing. Okay, before I start, let me light up the incense. I got Japanese incense, Moss Garden, Shoyudo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. The Moss Garden incense, Japanese incense. I don't know if I could see this. I don't know. Moss Garden, Shoyudo incense. Some shit. Maybe I could read this. Maybe it's Japanese in the comments. Quick. Let me set the vibe a little bit. It doesn't have any bamboo. It's just straight incense. Look at this bit. Got the incense holder. I just figured out how to use this. It's an incense holder. I just figured it out. Like this whole time, I thought that you put the incense stick like in the hole, like the incense. I knew that was BS, but like I just so I watched a YouTube video and they told me my dumb ass. You put the you put the incense like in the hole. I don't know. You put the incense in the hole right there. I didn't even notice that there was holes in it. Like this. So you put it in. You gotta do it carefully because this breaks very easily. The holes right here, the smell comes out like that from these holes. Oh, yeah, so let me like this bit. Hold on, I'm not even wearing this. These are not even my glasses. It's crazy. These are my wife's glasses. That's insane. Um, pause it. Like this first. This from Amazon. Like an electric lighter. You charge it with USB C. prong, like a cattle prong type shit. So it's me. And you just basically close it and it comes out the hole. Smoke. Not understand this. Understand the vibe. Let's click play on this bit. Mhm. It's like AE aesthetics. Together. Steady. Yeah, like, all right. So first of all, you capture my heart because you got the PlayStation One sound effects. Like he knew what he was doing. Like anybody that's into this aesthetic probably know about the PlayStation One aesthetic. Like that sound defines a whole generation. Like let's rewind that. That's a powerful. That's a power. That is the best intro sound for any game console to this day. Like nothing has topped the PS1 intro sound. It's just like you, like that's like this. Like you gotta. It's like the Pledge of Allegiance. Like you gotta sit, put your hand on your chest, and just like salute that. Like it's that powerful. One more time. That should be a national anthem. If I ran the country, that would the national anthem would be the PlayStation One intro sound. All right, so anyway, so he got the bucket hat, he got the shades. Now I'm not a fashionista expert. It's like I like to pretend I am, but I'm not. I don't know what these shades are called. They're kind of like cloud goggles, low key, but they're not cloud goggles. But these are he captured the vibe, like the Sony Walkman, the chrome. He got the lava lamp. He got the chrome background with the towels. Like he's killing this shit. Like he knew what he was doing. He put the bucket hat. The bucket hat is key. Like that's even coming back in style low key. Like the Ray Sherman album, Sway Lee is rocking that bucket hat on fire. Like bucket hats was kind of coming back, but it didn't really make a resurgence. But with Y2K, I get it. Like young lean kind of touched on this. Now that I'm thinking about it, like when he came out with the I forgot the first song he did. It's not called Gatorade. I forgot what the first song was, but the man, let me look it up. It's called Young Lean. Jin Ginseng Strip. So yeah. Ginseng Strip. So Young Lean touched on this aesthetic like early. Like Ginseng Strip came out mad long ago, and he was ahead of his time with his resurgence. But yeah, Ginseng Strip. Young Lean touched on this aesthetic low key. He wore the bucket hat. He was a Sweden killing it. But yeah, I don't know. Like this aesthetic is just this is the to me this is the most best. This is the most fire aesthetic of all time. Like let me just keep it moving. He got the PS1 controller with the dual shock. I don't have that. I don't have that with me. But I have a PS1. I have a PS1 downstairs. And I got the PS1 controller, like the real one. I should have brought it upstairs with me. But it's just he's capturing he got the chrome plate, the ashtray. I don't know what this is, but he just captured it so good. He got the Crash Bandicoot sound effects. Like my guy is on point. He's killing us. This is an hour long, so I'm gonna speed it up like a little bit. I'll put it on 1.25. This is those fire aesthetic. Like the bucket hat, I think of Jamiroquai Virtual Insanity. When Jamiroquai had the bucket hat, I can't fit a bucket hat because my hair is too crazy. My hair's too thick. But if I could, I would for sure. Nostalgia is key. This is nostalgic. I was born in 1991, so around this time I was like 9 years old. 2000 Y2K. So at the time, I wasn't thinking about aesthetics, but just like in the sense of like nostalgia, like of course, like I remember this aesthetic. It didn't really speak to me back then, but in retrospect, it speaks to me for sure. Yeah, you got the P Diddy video. Facts. All right, so I don't know what is that Hype Williams on the left, but P Diddy, yeah. If you didn't see the lights, he's right. Like you were doing it wrong. The shades, like these niggas didn't need shades, but he wore shades. That means yeah, like you gotta see the lights in the glasses. Like that's part of the aesthetic. So he kind of did it right. He got the ring light in his left eye, and then he got the chrome plates in his right eye. He killed that shit. I don't know what the bulletproof vest is about. I don't remember that being a part of a trend. I feel like the bulletproof vessels I feel like came later on, but maybe that was part of the trend that I just missed out on. That's he got the wired earphones. Like he's dedicated. That's fire. If I had a lava lamp, I would turn it on for sure. This aesthetic. Oh my god, this aesthetic by itself. Oh, like I don't know if he hired somebody to capture this, but he killed this. Like the bubbles, that was part of the aesthetic. Like I think of like the Spice Girls video game on PlayStation One, and this font. Oh my god, it's like so much nostalgia, bro. He killed it with the outline right here, the BASIC, the bubbles, the font, the purple, like the color scheme is the same as that that YouTuber I showed you before. Her color scheme is exactly this. It was purple. It was like shades of purple and shades of light gray and white. Then you got the globe was like a big symbol for back then. Like it's I don't know. My favorite color to this day is lavender, and I didn't know why. This could possibly be why. I'm not sure, but it's so fire. It's just such a good aesthetic. I can't think of any aesthetic that tops this. And that his vest is fire. Like he's able to put his shades on it. He got his Walkman fits perfectly in it. Probably he could probably zip it up if he like he squeezed it down a little bit. I don't know if he wants to do that. So far, Britney Spears. Oh, what am I doing? Oh my god! So the Hunger Games captured this aesthetic? I didn't even know that. Okay. What am I? I'm bugging. I'm bugging. I'm bugging. No, I'm bugging. Oh my god! Like I'm pausing way too much. Fire, fire. Yeah, that's utopia right there. Like, look at that. Like the sterile white with the reflections, the cleanliness, the minimalism. It just speaks to me. Like I don't know. It's just so good. Like if I was rich and I had a house, my closet would probably look something like this for sure. I would assume I don't know. So fire. Britney Spears killed that shit with the Robo Sony dog. Oh my god, she killed it. She knows she killed it. You can tell by the smell. She killed that shit. Killed it. That's fire. Killed it. Like this picture is perfect. The TLC No Scrubs classic. 19, and this was like pre Y2K too. So they, whoever directed this video was ahead of the curve for sure. This was this the same year The Matrix or the before it? I gotta look that up. Oh, The Matrix came out in 1999. It came out in March. So let me see. No Scrubs probably came out later. Let me see. No Scrubs. So No Scrubs was released February, but when was the video though? That's what I'm curious about. I wonder when the video was released. But yeah, this video was an excellent like example of the Y2K aesthetic for sure. They killed that shit. All their albums are fire. All of it, excellent. Yeah. Like I like when I see that, I think of the MacBook, which I know he's gonna touch on too. Yeah. So I was 6 to 12. Yeah. In retrospect, this is like so stupid, like that. Like I understand why they thought that, but it's like dumb. Like like part of me thinks that like people like the media like spread this dumbass shit. Like people knew. Like I feel like those who know actually knew that this wasn't a problem, but the media like was okay with spreading this because like people panic makes money, right? So they knew this would make a lot of money for the industries. This is stupid though. Like they get niggas buying gallons of I don't know what that was. I don't know if it's gas or water. So stupid. Yeah, for sure. Mm. Hmm. Yeah, they doing it to this day. Like it's coming back in style. That's nuts. Yeah, yeah. This is definitely the Y2K with the gradients. Like not the gradients, but like the button. This is like dated but futuristic at the same time. This definitely this font, moon gray, ocean blue, hot tip pink. This the arrows remind me of Dance Dance Revolution. Dance Dance Revolution actually captures this aesthetic very well too. Yeah, the rocket, the satellite, the neuron, and the star. Yeah, they know what they're doing. Yeah, yeah. I didn't realize that on the metaverse kind of like utilized this aesthetic as well. I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. Dua Lipa. Yeah, Lipa used to be like an electric company where I lived. Long Island Power Authority. Soviet RIP. I didn't even when I saw Sophie's album cover, but I didn't even think of that. But the Dua Lipa. That's not an album cover. This is a promo for Puma. This shit's fire though. It's so fire. It's really fire. But Sophie's cover, I didn't even think about like Y2K aesthetic. I don't know. But it makes sense. The color palette is there for sure. Yeah, yeah. Dua Lipa killed that shit. I don't even listen to Dua Lipa, but yeah, she killed that shit. Yeah, she's killing it. I'm not gonna lie, she's killing it. The red hair reminds me of Fifth Element. Oh, so good. Spiral. Oh, mhm, yeah. We're living the Y2K aesthetic now. Like before, they projected, like they wasn't living it. They kind of felt like they were living it because the internet was born. But this is like the real shit now. Like we're kind of living it, not to the 100% degree, but we're way further along in 2023 than what you know. This we're way further along now. So now it's coming back in style because we're kind of living it, but our aesthetic is not matching it. We're not wearing like reflective suits and shit, but we're a lot closer now. Spyro came out in 1998. So, yeah, yeah. Spyro dropped a week before my sister was born. That's crazy. Yeah, it's just like it's so fire. Mm. This guy is spitting knowledge. Like I didn't know none of this shit. Like it makes sense in retrospect, but I didn't know this. That's crazy. He's killing it. He's killing it with the slides too. Like the font. He's killing it. Like listen to that music in the background. Uh, like it's just he knows what he's doing. It's just fine. It's just this is utopia for sure. Like yeah, Prince House. Mm. Not nothing like that now. Mm, mm, no. This is the AOL vibes, man. Oh my god. Oh, mm, 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 mm. PCs. Yeah, yeah. My first computer that I ever had was the 98. Yeah, I think it had Windows 98. That wasn't. I wasn't on the first wave of it. 95 was like the first wave, but 98. 1986, the first Hotmail. Oh my god, and Hotmail still exists right now. Oh my god. So what's that's what 27 years? No, 37 years? 86. Yeah, 37 years. Oh my god. Hotmail's only almost 4 years old. That's insane. He said 86, but the timestamp is 96 on this one. So I wonder how it looked at 86. Nokia was fire. You couldn't text it. If you was on AT&T, you couldn't text a Verizon. My nigga drinking the white wine, killing the shit. Oh, if y'all can't hear this, that's embarrassing. Hold on. Y'all might not be able to hear this. Hold on. Oh shit. This whole time, nobody. Oh. Oh my god. That is embarrassing. Nobody can hear this. Oh my god, it's embarrassing. Oh my, you have to be kidding me. Oh my god, really? Yeah, what's gonna cook? That's so bad. Hold on.
of year 2000 and subsequently
That's
access to internet
embarrassing.
by mid
Oh, that's why nobody's
2001.
watching.
As for number 2, mobile phones. By 2001, 32% of population uses mobile phone. By 2002, the number had risen to 62%.
I
As for
hope you
number
guys can
3,
hear it
compact
now.
disc technology, CDs. Although launched in 1982, in sales, 1993, CDs surpassed cassettes. By 1994, Sony released in North America its PlayStation system. The first 32-bit
The PlayStation. This is like this is to this day. It's between the PS1 and the three and between the PS1 and the 360 is the to me the two best consoles of all time. Since I was born in '91, so I don't know. The 64 is up there too, but the PS1, oh my god, the nostalgia is insane. Like, the PS1 was special. The since then the only console that I don't think it matched it, but it was close. Was the 360? 360 was close, but the PS1, oh my god, oh, it was beautiful. And again, it has the same gray aesthetic. I don't know if the highest powers orchestrated like that gray to be the prominent color of that aesthetic, but they got it. And that intro sound was just glorious.
bit console that play games on
Oh,
CDs rather than cartridges. By 2003, DVDs surpassed VHS, so we see a pattern here. By the early 2000s, this tech had been adopted by the majority of the population by pushing out of the window any other media carriers. Home tech gets normalized, socially integrated, and wholly mainstream. This affected culture in two ways. Bear with me. I know it's getting complex, but we will circle back and it will all make sense, I promise. It affected culture in two ways. A, sociological aspect of a new looking pop culture and what did this all mean to that society. And B, the visual stimuli aspect provided by the freshness of new mediums and new medium carriers on the collective imagination of consumer sensibilities. Okay, we are getting to the culture now. We're getting there, friends. Trust me. So, as for my point A, we need some more juice.
yeah,
Don't
juice,
touch me. I'm here
juice.
working my ass off.
Oh,
I deserve
yeah,
it.
he deserved that shit. He's killing that shit. He deserved.
Right, what was I saying? Yeah, right. As for my point A, it's hard for us to imagine the world prior to the constant buzz and hum of our phones and laptops, endless pings of notifications ever present dwelling in our
Bro, like this guy's killing it because like he's spitting facts. I don't know if he's I don't know if he's reading a script because I tried to make a YouTube video recently. I can't do it, man. Like I'm reading off a script. I sound like a robot. I sound like a fucking robot. This guy is killing it. He might be reading a script because I think he's. There's no way you could speak like that or read a script. But the way he's doing it, he's adding emotive like tonations. I don't even know if that's a word. Like he's adding tone to it, and it's making it seem like he's not reading a script, but he's killing it. And he's speaking facts too. Like he's killing that shit.
large and small. We
So
feel so integrated with the digital ecosystem of our current day that this idea seems so inseparable from our reality. So it is hard for us to envision life much, much more analog. Those things that we take for granted today were once new, very new, groundbreaking, game changing novelties that, if anything, felt unique, almost performative. A time where sending text or surfing the web was still very much a special event. It really is difficult, but we will have to take an educated leap and try to envision it here. So, before, nothing. Nothing but cable phones and postcards. Then, the worldwide spread of home computers and especially the internet suddenly, for the first time, created a sense of global interconnectivity and a feeling of immediacy about the exchange of information. Suddenly, you didn't have to rely on going to some dusty libraries and dealing with a moody librarian to help you out or asking your, I don't know, uncle about something that, as you found out years later, was nothing more but a folktale rather than a fact. The lies I lived with. This has restructured the way we thought about information and how we all rely on one another globally. Just look at this footage of people talking about it when things were still very fresh and very new.
The worldwide computer network called the Internet has inspired more movies than any big deal technological fad since, the CD radio boom of the 1970s.
It hit, and within like 2 years, it's become so
Sandra Bullock,
powerful.
We all have this sort of like basic
Moby,
deep need to communicate with other people. So I think that sort of explains the popularity of something like
Moby's
this.
thing.
It's gratifying as hell. It's a little weird.
And I was talking to some guy, and the next day, the guy came by with a printout and read back what I had talked to some guy to show. It's kind of scary.
The sense of digital immediacy blew people's minds. The information suddenly got remote.
See, and now we're at an era where we have our own advent. and but it's not the internet; it's the AI. Right? See, and this is what inspired me to react to this because this is the advent of the internet. But now, almost 20 years, like a little more than 20 years later, now the new advent is artificial intelligence, and that's going to change a whole bunch of shit. It's already starting to change it, but we're at the beginning, we're there, the infancy of artificial intelligence. So it's interesting to see the next wave, right? Like they call it Web 3.0, and it started with VR and like cryptocurrency, but now we got AI. So AI is like pushing shit. I mean, it hasn't yet because it's not mainstream, but it's pushing shit fast, fast, fast. I wonder what this video is going to be in 20 years about the AI, you know. But I don't think we have an aesthetic tied to AI yet. I don't see it yet, but
Centralized, instant, and interactive. That's why, believe it or not, at first, in the 90s, the internet was nicknamed, and I'm sorry for saying this out loud, the
the
information
information is super
superhighway.
high.
Tonight, the information superhighway and one of its main thoroughfares, an online network called Internet.
If you ain't on the information superhighway, baby, you
R.I.P.
ain't.
At
Coolio.
first, people at the time struggled to conceptualize this whole concept and describe it in normal words. And I mean, can you blame them?
World Wide Web, with its proliferation of special interest truck stops called websites, and the arrival of network browser programs that make the whole
Netscape.
thing, if not idiot-proof, at least user-friendly. Most cyber voyagers log onto it.
Information superhighway, baby.
It's easier for us now, and unlike cable phones and work computers, owning one's personal device generated a worldwide fascination with this idea of belonging to an interlinked global community on your own terms. The very notion of the ability for remote communication.
This aesthetic is not a Space Channel 5, which is like a Dreamcast as well. Dreamcast captured that aesthetic very well. They had the clean white background with the white orange like spiral, like the doom. Like I don't know if I'm doing the intro right, but Dreamcast captured that aesthetic very well. I think Dreamcast came out 2001, so that was part of the Y2K aesthetic as well. But yeah, this I'm thinking of Space Channel 5 and like Fifth Element. I gotta see when Fifth Element came out. Hold on, let me see.
And instant interactiveness with others was immensely celebrated. And unlike the way we see it today, this sense of immediacy was heralded as a promise of personal independency. We see this on and on again in advertising over time. People on the move being able.
So the Fifth Element movie was part of the Y2K aesthetic because he said 97 to 03. Fifth Element came out in 97. Yeah, okay. And then let's see when Space Channel 5 came out. I wonder what if the number 5 has any significance with this aesthetic. Channel 5. Let's keep it going. And Matrix was part of this
do
aesthetic
their
as
thing
well.
while being accessible and having access in return, not chained to the permanence of location.
It came out in
This idea of
99.
being apart together, connected.
99.
This can feel so almost exotic to us now.
2000
because
for United
this idea
States.
as something exciting is in direct opposition to how we feel today.
So
Constantly having our smarphones in our pockets. That was the cultural landscape of year 2000s. And this was one of the philosophical driving factors behind the Y2K aesthetic. Now, as my point B, the effect of visual stimuli, remember, we can thank the design world for things. That's a long ass.
Yeah, drink that wine.
Number
You
one,
deserve it.
Macintosh's introduction of iMac G3
Oh,
in
the
1988.
The iMac was so clean. The iMac was so clean. The iMac always made me thirsty because it's like a see-through thing with colors, right? So like you think of like a clear glass, right? And then you pour like some, let's say this is blue, so like oh they don't make blueberry juice, but like some kind of blue raspberry juice. Put it in the glass, you want to drink it, right? This made me thirsty. I remember when they had it in school. It just reminds me of like a glass of juice. It's like translucent. It looks so good. It looks so. Even now, it looks good. Even right now, they could release this and it looks good. they don't make big they don't make like big booty computers anymore, but it looks so good. Apple really captured that shit. It looks so good. Like the keyboard looks good, the monitor looks, the computer looks good. It just looks so good. Apple killed that.
Was a sweepingly total game changer that defined the upcoming look of tech. It marked a clear breaking point from the previously established
Right.
beigeness and
Yeah.
boxy look of computers.
Yeah,
It was even
facts.
conspicuously advertised as such.
This is what you call visionary. That's visionary. Like you said, everything was boxy and beige. They just like went against the grain and just made round and color. Killed it. Steve Jobs.
The tanned casing suddenly felt so prehistoric, the
Yeah.
angularity so 80s. The new
So
G3
futuristic.
introduced a heightened ergonomics and transparency as design features,
Fire.
also bringing about the trend for
And then now this makes me, oh, that looks so good. Like I want to lick each flavor. Like the blueberry, the grape, the orange. Oh my headphones died. I can't believe it. Oh, really? It's gonna sound about it. Is it really dead?
variety of transparent and
I think it's almost dead. That's probably what happened. I don't have a cord long enough.
solid plastics and tech. Mac's upcoming models only further the superiority of aesthetics over basic practicalities, suddenly making computers simultaneously look both so otherworldly
You
and
could
so
storage or you
civilized.
listen to
This created a ripple effect in the tech and industrial design at large, creating a lot of items inspired by the look and feel of the Macintosh's product.
It looks so. Oh, look at these copycats. But it looks good though.
And so civilized. This created a ripple effect in the tech and industrial design at large, creating a lot of items
Yeah, that's kind of ugly, but
inspired
that looks amazing. That looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. The translucent, it looks so good. Translucent, I think that design has been lost, but I think it's coming back. The nothing phone, I think it's called the nothing phone or something like that. That's kind of that's the only thing I've seen in the mainstream that's like that return to transparency vibe because that was like a big thing back then. Like I think of like the Game Boy Advance was translucent. That was like a fire design language back then. I hope that makes a comeback.
by the look and feel of tech and industrial design at large, creating a lot of items inspired by the look
Looks like a hospital room.
and feel of the Mac.
Look at that. That's an iron. Oh my god. What kind of case is that? That looks so good. But the irons really look like that though, because they had like the white handle with the translucent like screen for like your water, so you can see what level of water. I don't know if Panasonic started that, but irons that was like a normal design for irons ever since. I don't know if that was because of the Y2K aesthetic.
Macintosh's products.
Oh, these look fire. These look fire. These look pretty damn cool. They obviously, I guess they're copying the iMac design language, but these look so cool.
And I mean a lot of products inspired by them. A lot. Aesthetic wise,
Yeah.
Mac products of the time were like an asteroid hitting the earth and shaking the ground to the very core. It affected completely the look of
Yeah.
the design
Look at
period.
that looks so
Number two,
good. Looks
same
so
kind of aesthetic superiority had been generated by the total domination of CDs on the market and its absolute monopoly as a medium carrier. The annihilation of previous ones from the market, the tape cassettes, the VHS, the floppy disk, the video game cartridge, all now overtaken by CD, had created an unquestionable supremacy of the disc in the world of home tech. Exhibit A. This in turn affected
Right.
the collective imagination of the general public. The newness and the ever-presence of this specific object with this specific look, the roundedness, its purity of form, all covered in its rich, lush silver,
With the rainbow.
its holographic iridescence.
Holographic.
Like G3, this unit seems so otherworldly and so
Alright, I
advanced.
see where he's going. The chrome came from the CD. I see it now. Okay, the roundness and the reflections and the iridescence. I get it. So he's saying this. That'd be crazy if the CD was this the compact. This is what spawned this aesthetic because everything was chrome, everything was rainbow, everything was iridescence, everything was flashy. So did it all reflect the CD, which also reflected real life?
Yet so elemental, so alien-like.
Yeah,
You must
he's
imagine
right.
this. If it had previously been used to boxy plastic of cassettes, it felt mesmerizing just to hold these. Needless to say, CD, with its
He's right.
strong visual, deeply affected contemporary culture and became a sort of an artifact for hypermodernity and visions of projected future.
Wow.
Add to this another development of the decade, the CGIs. 3D graphic design and architectural CADs. The boom in the CGI industry, which throughout the 90s felt as if it was
The
improving by the
Matrix.
month, was also capitalizing on development from the previous decades. One of the iconic developments that impacted the Y2K was the effect of morphing water that we clearly see in the movie Abyss from 1989. We see this effect repurposed on and on again throughout the era. Heavy development of computer graphic softwares created a boom for 3D graphics and render composites,
Alright.
which provided a
Oh, look at that aesthetic is so excellent. This is the best aesthetic. It's so good. I look at this car. I think of Jeff Gordon Excess Racing. That's a low key game. Most people don't really know about this game. But I just think of Jeff Gordon Excess Racing. Let me see what year that came out. Let's see.
whole new world of a new medium to explore. On the
yeah,
other
yeah.
hand, CAD softwares for architectural renderings allowed for the first time to digitally draft irregularities of Bezier curves, opening doors to incorporating
It
digitally
was so good.
complex, rounded, irregular,
Oh.
fluid-like forms.
That's how
into
everything should like that. That aesthetic reminds me of Big Fat Liar when they got to the office. Excess 99. Jeff Gordon Excess Racing was part of the Y2K aesthetic. Yeah, for sure. Oh, look at that. That's amazing. Let me see. Big Fat Liar came out. They came out 03, but it might have been shot in 02. Let me see. Big Fat Liar. Oh, it's 02. And it was probably shot in like 01. Um, yeah, the office scene. It was Astrid Baker. Just too far.
projects of buildings. So, just to recap,
Yeah,
after the
like
visual stimuli, the computer
you
hardware,
got Astrid Baker with the MacBook screen, the Mac screen, and that office was like Y2K for sure. Like it had mad translucent colors. Oh, and Marty Wolf's house was like
Yes.
Y2K aesthetic as well. It was like gray. It was like blue. It was Y2K aesthetic. It was like chrome.
Furnace
Yeah,
of
oh my
CDs,
God.
the 3D render, the watery CGIs.
So good.
Drop all of that into the mix of what we previously talked about, which is prosperous economy, relative world peace, sociological celebration of interconnectivity, and ever-improving technological boom. All of this peppered with great optimism towards future, while, with this in mind, standing collectively on the doorstep of once-in-a-lifetime turn of the millennium, a brand new enigmatic world of 2000s.
He's speaking facts. He's speaking facts.
There is no wonder that the sense of futurism exploded the way it did.
3.
He's speaking
Visualizing
facts.
change.
Oh my God.
Okay, so here's the thing. A specifically futurist visions of projected times ahead are always fueled by the abrupt and positive cultural shifts of the particular times in which this is happening. With each discovery or swift development, people seek out to visualize and to materialize their excitement, a newfound curiosity about the novel and the unknown. And as it were with the 1920s and the industrial boom of the metropolises, or the 60s and 70s and the groundbreaking time of exploration of space, the 2000s, with its web of connections, modem as portal to the worldwide surfing, also sought after symbolic visualization of this brand new world of instant communication. Remember, futurism is always about the new spatial exploration. It's always about space in which things happen. And just like the 20s had space of ultra-modern city and 1970s has its cosmos, 2000 stood at the threshold of the newly discovered online universe. A virtual world, a sort of
So many
agent
curves.
displaced, proxied, the conceptual brought into the physical representations of interconnectedness, mapped out in the foreign lands of digital landscape. A connection as art, a connection.
The translucency, the purple, the blues, the wires, the circles. Now, all right. So I'm gonna pause here. Well, that. All right. So this isn't inaccurate, right?
As a product.
But then all right. Then you got the apps. That's insane. So this looks like the absolute bottle even nowadays. Like the shape is just like this. It's like the bottle, and then it has like the little deck, and then the circle cap. So this looks just like even to this day. That's how the absolute bottle looks. But they just put it like cell phone form with like the Nokia vibes. Um, this this was accurate for the time, but this wasn't indicative of like futuristic. Because I guess everybody's trying to be like futuristic. This is not indicative of how things progressed with technology, but that's definitely indicative of the time. Like the buttons, that the chrome buttons, like screen, the little circular knob at the bottom. Like yeah,
And as a lifestyle.
now this is very accurate. Like, not all right. So let me stop. It's not accurate yet, but the hollow headset is very. This is very close. Now in the top corner it says the Sony Glasstron 97. So this is 1997. I guess this was like I don't know if this was like a real thing, but this is like a concept. This is very accurate. Like this, not very accurate. This is like a very good like guess for how the future, because like this is damn near close to the Oculus Quest. I mean, Oculus Quest is basically if you get the hollow, the Oculus Quest like the the stock version is not like this. It doesn't have like Halo, like it has like a strap over your head, but you can buy hollow Halo headsets, and it looks just like I have a head strap that looks just like this. I should have put the Quest strap up here. I should have put it up here. But it looks just like this, like the circular, and then the little connection above the eye headset, the eye set thing. I don't know what you call it. And then the one wire. Like this is very accurate, and this is like way before VR even like VR just started. Like I don't know when the Quest 2 came out, but VR like became a thing like 20. I want to say it's 2013 maybe. I could be wrong. Like it's around that time, and this is like the next iteration of it. Now this looks more like an AR, like an augmented reality headset, because to play VR you need like a seal around your eyes to block up the light, and this doesn't it'll block out light because it looks like too detached to block out light. But this looks like what somebody would design the AR, the next AR. I know Apple's creating something, and I think Apple's doing AR, but they could be doing VR. I don't know, but this looks so close to what it's about to be for sure with the one wire. Yeah,
All of it melted together and
the Blue
coined
Man
as an
Group,
expression of
Final
culture,
Fantasy.
as an abstract entanglement symbolizing our complex, although yet to be defined, parasocial relationships.
The
played
Blue Man
out
Group was part of the
entirely through
Y2K aesthetic as
the
well.
SMSs and the WWWs,
Yeah,
virtual world building, line in pixels and vectors
so
and connections. It was a highly imagined and highly abstract
Matrix.
space, so previously unknown to us.
And ones and
No
zeros,
wonder
the
then that we
binary.
looked for equally mysterious and uncharted places as a point of reference to conceptualize what we know to be equally unknown to us. The space and deep waters. Conceptually speaking, the similarity in curiosity towards the unknown stemming from far reaches of
Space and water. That's why Y2K took so much design elements from water and space. That makes so much sense because that's the unknown. The water is unknown. There's so much like shit that we don't know about, like in the deep blue sea and space. That makes a lot of sense.
say,
I like
sci-fi
that.
galaxies and
It's like a vast. The space. It's like an ocean without the oxygen.
dark
Oh,
depths of the oceans,
yeah.
resonated with dressing
Wow.
up the conceptual reality of the digital
Wow.
world.
Yeah,
In Y2K, we
that
see water,
jellyfish.
droplets, fluids, as well as penchant for space and space
Yeah,
travel. The
he's spit
space symbolizing
facts.
foreignness, but also
Yeah.
limitlessness and potential.
Oh my
Water, on the
God.
other hand, symbolizes life and a
Yeah.
state of flux. With
Yeah.
this in mind, we might
Space
have
and water
a
has potential
deeper
because
look
there's so much we don't know about it. It's so vast and deep, and we don't know much about it yet.
into the curvilinear shapes so
Look at
prevalent
that.
in the Y2K.
So
Not
good.
as just merely squiggly, arbitrary generated trend for these shapes, but a symbol of society's consciously felt state of change.
We-
And I found this amazing quote from the designer Karim Rashid that captures what I'm saying to a T. Let me just bring it up for you.
This
The digital
font is
age,
so
the
fire.
information
I forgot the
society,
name of
the
this
global
font.
village, and the leisure culture are all
Now
free.
this font brings me back to SSX Tricky. SSX Tricky had like this aesthetic. I gotta find it. The SSX Tricky like menu fonts had this same font aesthetic. It's tricky. It's tricky. It's Jesus rock around. Let me see the menu. Menu. I swear it had like this font. Um, yeah, kind of. But SSX Tricky definitely had the Y2K aesthetic. And yeah, like it kind of like if you look at, can I enlarge this? Is it? Yeah, if you look at Elise on this, that bad girl, that's the same font as which it's similar, very similar to what you see on the screen. It's not the same, but that font was very like indicative of that aesthetic for sure. There's a famous font that has I forgot what it's called.
That describe a changing physical world where
Such a good
soft,
font.
organic mutability characterizes our landscape. It's where a plethora of shapes, materials, mechanics, electronics, digitalia, information, myths, markets, and tribes all form an ever-changing parabolic cosmos that is our built environment. It combines with the human body, softness and tactility to coalesce into an emerging languages, all these components giving form to our new formal landscape that is soft. It is an axiom of our new physical condition, a desire to conquer all mathematical probabilities with forms that could previously never be documented in any rational formulae. Such objects are in part a result of a new computer-aided tools of morphing, NURBS, splines, metaballs, and other bioshaping commands are fostering a more relaxed organic condition, softer, globular, blobular. This softening, or as I call it, casualization of shape, form, material, and behavior is definitely a movement, a digital language of blobifying our world, physically and immaterially. The blobject movement is here thanks to a handful of designers who have taken a great interest in organic form and the technologies that are allowing us to morph, indulate, twist, torque, and blend our landscape. So, we might say that the irregular roundness in shapes and forms is a wider sociological symbol of a civilization in flux. The designs follow the inspiration fueled by fluctuating biomorphic form, looking into invertebrates and amoeba-like shapes, primal and shapeshifting, just like the times, the tech, the people delving into new societal stage. All of it bathed in cool blue aqueous light, dressed in silver, in fluidity of water, translucent
Yeah. What is
blue
this? What is that
aqueous
CD remind me of?
light,
Yeezus.
dressed.
Yeah, Yeezus. Yeah. Mhm. And the Yeezus concept art look very similar to this. It's that gray, that purple, that blue, that it's like that color.
In silver, in fluidity of water, translucence, transparent, all in
So
turn
good.
informing the physical properties of design, creating these strong visuals of twisted, alien-like future, so specifically Y2K. The flux in society had affected the materiality of objects, which in turn have conspicuously tried to express this sense of societal flux. Oh, I know. Very complex, but makes sense.
Yeah.
This is the kind of philosophy behind those shapes and behind those forms. And talking about all of this so far, the attitude, the design choices, the graphic and tech development, the philosophy, nothing encapsulate that in a grand melting pot of visuals more than 4. Music videos. Yes, we're getting to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Alright, people, here we go. Yes, music videos. We are getting there, friends. The thing that brought you here in the first place.
Oh,
You think I
man.
don't know that? Of course I
Yeah.
know that. Here we go. Okay, so there's mainly 2 things at play here. The more obvious one, which is the surface level coolness of it all.
Thorough.
At the very basic,
It's
the
so thorough.
classy blacks and silver cladding taken to another level. Chrome, mirror, luster, matte finish. The cold,
White,
metal,
gray,
sleek
blue,
coolness.
yeah.
Spaceships, airlocks, playrooms,
Spaceships,
sitting rooms,
oh.
bathrooms, sleeping chambers, driveway tunnels, all at its designer best. And of course,
Yeah.
there's tech. Tech.
Tech,
Real tech,
yeah.
fantasy tech, CGI extravaganza
Wow.
as imagined celebration of technological progress of the future.
the
Tech in gadgets,
shades.
tech in interior, tech in clothing. Those flashy, I don't know what they are, brooches? Watching this as a kid, I always thought those were just
Beautiful.
really dope security tags. You know, that ones. Yeah, I don't know. So there is a coolness in some of the elements, and there is a whole subgenres taken out of contemporary cool. Marcy Gray took futurist slash designer slash organic lab biomorphism to such a next level. This video is pure Y2K at its white, blobby, inflatable best. My girl J-Lo gave living and partying all dressed up in computer interface environment a shot to stratosphere of cool. Old Town Liquid Dreams is a love letter to CGI water morphing effect from Abyss, solidifying this tendency of graphic liquidity as expression of new age.
Spice Girls PS1 had this aesthetic down.
And while talking about liquidity, Busta Rhymes and Janet Jackson also given the CGI of the time the biggest flex. Actually, a lot of Y2K coolness stemmed from black artists. Their impeccable eye, combined with the era's call for designer edge, gave way to
Missy
such
Elliott.
incredible visuals that are legendary within this period. Look at works of Missy Elliott, look at Aaliyah. The makeup, the look, the colors are walking and talking banner of Y2K fashion. This is also mostly thanks to Hype Williams and his work, the black director visionary that you will recognize mostly from sleek cinematography and stunning set design. So, there's the undeniable coolness of it, also indicative of the turn of the Millennium times. But there is also another, less obvious aspect, and that's an undertone of depicting sociological shifts, a deeper level of addressing digital reality and virtual connections and dressing them up in the language of visual metaphor. Sure, Janet Jackson and Michael Jackson's Scream depicts a cool space travel, but look at it deeper. With them browsing the multitude of art, playing video games and recording music, enjoying the vastness of culture, all of it instantly accessible to them, enclosed in
Cool Keith, Black Elvis, same aesthetic.
sleek, visually elemental capsule cruising throughout the unknown potentiality of space. Look at it and tell me, this is not a visual metaphor, a premonition of a smartphone. No one can tell me otherwise, I'm sorry, and this is the hill I choose to die on. And this is what I mean. This is a sort of visual abstraction of technology, a physical manifestations of interconnectivity, an existence in cyberspace, and a sense of displacement, all along their potential. Visually amped up metaphor of the pragmatics of what we know all too well.
Wow. This is beautiful.
And use on daily basis 20 years later. For example, J-Lo and the reality of live stream. This video is a cover art for the internet parasocial relationship phenomenon. Pre-YouTube, pre-social media, pre-everything. Updating the format of personal ads for the digital age. Here in DLC, left eye segment is a visual embodiment of making of dating app profile.
Wow.
While we on dating slash hookup apps, tell me that the George Michael's Fast Love isn't Tinder. Or Black's Bring It All to Me. The immediacy of interchangeability of love partners is so fitting for the era of upcoming phones. Caramel and the digital avatar of man's sense of desire. The examples of this go on and on. In many senses, these things use all tricks in the book when it comes to language of design, computer graphics, sense of excitement due to self-updating technology, and channel social attitudes of the time into it. They are the best embodiment of all the bits coming together in a short form of a video. So, it's nowhere as greatly expressed as in the world of pop music and music videos. And we have to remember that a lot of pop icons started within the time frame of the Y2K millennium, sporting a signature Y2K look and signature Y2K setting. And even though we don't associate them that much with these times today, they were all pivotal in popularizing the fashion of the futurist utopia. But how exactly that fashion came to be? That brings us to 5. Fashion. Freestyler.
You pouring up that wine.
Minimal, sporty, utilitarian on one hand, and shiny, futurist, total, and otherworldly
See Imogen Heap. The cool key.
on the other. One
Spice
thing
Girls.
that you can definitely say about Y2K fashion is that it's very distinct and very recognizable. I mean, am I wrong? Look at me. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. This is mainly due to its styling, use of specific fabrics, and heavy integration of sportswear into everyday fashion. The origins of the look stemmed from 90s clubwear and rave fashion, chiefly from UK and from Japan. The brands such as Cyberdog and Fotus were staples when it comes to this look. Also, there was an influence and fusion of 90s hip-hop style
Jet Set Radio. Has some of this as well.
to it. And as such, it had subsequently been absorbed into the mainstream by the high street brands, and chiefly promoted as a teenage/young Gen X
Fire.
fashion. The style, all along the way from its origins to fleshing out as Y2K, have had its silhouettes updated with the use of specific fabrics. We see a lot of PVC, we see a lot of pleather, nylon, mesh, polyester, synthetic
Disney
material,
Channel.
giving the clothes futurist, otherworldly, artificial look. Sportswear also played a big role. As I said, sporty silhouettes increasingly treated as a casual everyday wear. We see a lot of tank tops for women's wear and oversized cargo pants for men's wear, with a lot of zippers and pockets and elastic drawstrings and toggle cords. Trainers were having its moment, inspired by science fiction and exaggerated silhouettes and metallized details which seem to have been taken out straight from a spaceship. The high fashion, on the other hand, was sporting a more toned-down look, with much more clean lines and minimal-looking silhouette, mostly focusing on elevating the fabric as a main
Warehouse.
visual component. The inspiration stemmed more from the 1970s sci-fi
1999.
and contemporary minimalism, rather than the rave culture that inspired the high street fashions. The treatment in editorial was also very minimal, very cold-looking, with white as its dominant neutral color. Sunglasses had its big moment in the era, the designers imbuing eyewear with rimless, minimal ergonomic design, especially the designer sunglasses. We can definitely thank Matrix for that. You will recognize this everywhere as an absolute staple of Y2K. Their distinct look will always be an iconic emblem of the Millennium era. Styling was a crucial component of the overall look, with spiky or multi-layered, multi-section hair for a more edgy look, or a tight, wet, slick-back hair for a more high-fashion look. Metallic makeup was mandatory. Think silver, think blue, think lavender hues for the eyeshadow, which very much helped to elevate the cosmic futurist look. Ladies in the audience, how many of you wore a silver or blue eyeshadow during the early noughties or late 90s?
I'm gonna create a naked Zen Millennium kind of look. Genius.
Do drop me a comment below, I need to know that.
Thank you.
But all of those styles wouldn't have worked if it wasn't for a specific environment in which it was so adamantly presented. 6. Architecture and interior. The architecture and interior design of the era have equally received a very idiosyncratic, very futurist treatment inspired by the times. As mentioned before, the development of CAD technology allowed for more advanced curvature in the designs. And not that it wasn't present before, but the fluidity of the curves and rounded corners became a staple in the Y2K specifically. We see a lot of projects presented as these fantastical utopian renders designed totally and monolithically. You can see that this is pure conceptual thinking, not informed in any way by user experience or viability of realistic feedback of how those spaces would work in practice, and whether they would have been an efficient solution to design problems. This is just a pure, unadulterated vision of design. Buildings quite often were very bold-looking and very elemental in their alien-like forms. They sought to define and dominate the landscape with their uniqueness, imitating visions of extraterrestrial.
See, this is it's funny how you mentioned like there was economic prosperity and like world like peace, not world peace, but like peace. I guess seemed like like a Western thing, but we were thinking we were like hitting utopia, and that was kind of wrong. But this is what utopia looks like when you see like the concept drawings of utopia. It looks like this. It looks like green grass, like nature combined with like artificial shapes and like sterile like architecture. This is what the utopia mock-ups look like. It's like a white, clean, sterile combined with like nature. Because when you can only get utopia when everything's peaceful, when there's no chaos and disarray. That's when you can like think outside the box. You can afford that because there's no competition and there's no fighting, and when there's like disarray, chaos, and fighting, you can't really have time to think outside the box. You gotta kind of think more routine and structured. But when things are peaceful, you don't have much to really stress about. Then you start to think outside the box. That's how civilization works. So like, I think this is definitely you can only get this at a time of peace, and like, yeah.
terrestrial colonies and its imagined technology. Vast panes of glass and metal and chrome and silver
beautiful.
were two go-to finishes of the era. As for the interior design, especially the retail sector, was heavily influenced by early experimentations with futurism from 1970s. These shop fronts that you are seeing here are actually from 1970s, and we can see that this roundness with their forms, their metal finishes, and imposing individualistic facades had affected the inspiration behind Y2K. The commercial interior design was yet again more or less an attempt at the concept of materializing the digital. If you look deeper into designs of stores and bars and expo pavilions, it is this manifestation of trials of imagining and fleshing out the idea of how virtual reality can be translated into physicality of space. There were two sub-styles of this spatial design. One was very funky, loud, and colorful take stemming from 1970s, and the other was more contemporary, laboratory-like, clean, sterile, cold look, and a very narrow, very washed out, greyish, silverish, bluish color palette. Nightclubs, especially, were informed by the 1970s design language and the works of the designers such as Werner Panton, for example. Another facet of Y2K stemmed from experimentation with atypical or man-made materials. For example, the use of techno-gel invented in the 90s. We see a lot of plastics. We see quick resurgence of inflatable furniture, again reviving designs from 1960s and 70s. I know that you consider this chair to be an icon of Y2K, but actually it's a design from 60s, exactly from 1967. Inflatable furniture and objects took on as a trend and kind of became a staple niche of the Y2K.
I didn't realize that a lot of
spatial
the
design and given this aesthetic a more
inspiration was
playful
from the
and kind of
70s and
quirky
60s.
twist
That
to
makes
it.
sense.
As
though.
for the residential interior design,
Because 60s and 70s was they were pushing for peace as well.
things were much more informed by home technologies. Home tech played a main role in the interior and served as a point of reference for furnishings and styling, especially the high-end interior design, the fashionable design that was defined by the cold silverness of metals and irregular transparency of water-like liquidity of, for example, glassware. This design is sometimes manifested, again, in music videos. This is what was considered the upper end of Y2K.
This is what he's talking about.
Ultra-modern, very boxy forms with very fluid forms, pale shades of white, blue, silver, lavender, and very
That's exactly what
gray
he's
ends of
talking
teal.
about.
Also, the thing that, well, in my opinion at least, is often overlooked, but that is so
The bucket
iconic
hat.
and such a definition of the era, is the specific look of the
This
lamp
came out in
designs.
1999.
The cable system lamps in particular, and the table lamps presented in the design review books of the early 2000s are so amazing in achieving this ultra alien-like, this very designer, very kind of Men in Black feel. They really were a true product of their times.
And in black.
And figuratively. For the Y2K styling of the home, or any general space, these really are pure gems that define the look. 7. Art and design. I wish I still had my Buster Groove game.
Buster
really love that
Groove.
game. It was
Oh my
amazing.
god.
As we know, Y2K bled into almost every facet of design. The development of 3D graphics
Oh
and
my
subsequently
God.
the specific look of the video game design was
I wonder when the
influenced
game LSD came out. LSD had that
field of
aesthetic.
popular art. We see a lot of 3D works of art. There was also a boom for the digital avatars in the form of TV presenters and these so-called cyberbabes. Because,
Ooh,
of course, the
VR virtual streamers.
moment the guys invented a new way how to model human-like form, they had to go for generating a whole subgenre
Why not?
of scantily dressed women with as spherical boobs as the tech could only
Why not? Why not?
allow. However, objectification aside, that idea of humanoid-shaped renders also bled into pop culture and multidisciplinary art. Another very Y2K thing that was stemming from video game design
Dr. Evil, Austin Powers.
was actually this tendency of treating HUDs, which stand for heads-up display, that thing, as an element of art, kind of elevated beyond its practical use. We see a lot of HUDs used in a purely abstract, arbitrary way, not really
Heads-up
doing anything
displays.
other than symbolizing some imaginary sense of navigation. Again, a metaphorical reference in navigating imaginary connections within digital spaces. It's the kind of reoccurring trope and the fundamental of that aesthetic. It's being reincorporated on and on again with the use of different mediums. We can see the same things with websites, for example, stripping the general practicality of websites and emails and treating them as a tool of art.
Clean. Yeah. I mean, nowadays everything's very minimalist. It's not this cold though. There's colors. There's colors that pop nowadays. It's not white and blue. But like, yeah, it has like the Mac user interface. Yeah, I get it.
Manifesting abstractions into the pop culture of the time, using it as a band names, album titles, photoshoot layouts, even interior design. It was strictly treated as art rather than something that was purposeful, practical, and in of itself, the way we treat it today. As for the important artists and designers of the time, works of Misha Klein, its composite positioning and mixed 2D and 3D
Oh, it's gorgeous. Purple, the grays.
work was highly influential in transcending the boundaries of photography, fashion editorial, game design, capturing the cultural ambience of the era informed by the sense of displacement and virtuality of
that
environment.
creepy.
Another big name
Oh, look at the VR again.
of the era informed by the sense of displacement.
This is pretty accurate. I mean, this is how the Oculus kind of looks like this with the headphones way small. But yeah.
And virtuality of
That ain't creepy,
environment.
though.
Another big name was Mariko Mori. Her mesmerizingly translucent, metallic abstractions within her broad
so
portfolio.
cool.
She has this very clean, alien look to her body of work that we kind of intrinsically identify with.
Mirror's
And
Edge.
Ross Lovegrove. He's a veteran of the Y2K zeitgeist, exploring the sleek, futurist curvilinearity through a myriad of design disciplines, from interior design to product design.
This is the era where the pretentious niggas got their shit off. Like, this is the most pretentious era. Like, you can't get more pretentious than this. Oh my god.
Just look at his office, for example. Whirled straight from a Y2K video. On a more colorful, funky side of things was Karim Rashid, combining strong colors, vector graphics, and the morph-like shapes. Karim was responsible for the more, for the lack of better word, groovy and neo-psychedelic, if you will, look of the era. He is the godfather of the so-called objects. He is the one that coined the term. Where's the wine? Why the wine always finishes when you need it? When we talk about Y2K, we really have to emphasize that the blobject philosophy really cannot be underestimated in terms of how it affected the look of items designed at the time. It really was a dominant design thought, and blob encompassed all areas of design, from cars and architectural builds all the way to design of flip-flops. We see this bleeding into the world of graphic design. For example, the famous visual identity project of a Walkman. Look, as we can see here. With its isometric planning and blobby-like shape and this very dynamic capture of the morphing-like effect of two dots is just, pure symbolic essence of the zeitgeist. If you see this pattern, you know that you're in Y2K visual era. I know it's just a logo, but I mean, it's so specific and so pivotal to the times when it happened that we cannot actually leave it out. And I'm sorry, I'm geeking out here, but you need to know this. If you want to know about Y2K, you need to know that bit as well. I think that one of the most interesting parts of the blobject philosophy affecting the world of design is in the domains of home tech and interface design. The boom of the new consumer-friendly devices where all...
What's the name of that media player? It's called Fubar? I forgot the name of it. Fubar 2000 or something? Fubar 2000. Yeah. Oh my. Let me see the skins for this shit. Let me see. Y2K as fuck, man. Oh my god. Yeah. Trying to find one that captures it. But Fubar 2000 was like, I guess it was like VLC. It was like VLC pre VLC, but like Fubar 2000. Yeah, that's what hit me just now. But these beans look fire though. These are tape cassettes. That looks fire. I feel like we have stuff like this now. Like this, I guess they're trying to do like Bluetooth speakers from currently, but like the translucency, so good.
Dressed in rounded, intermingled forms, creating complex compositions on the surface. We see an absolute predominance of this visual. Also, due to the prosperous nature of the times and its promise of a new economy bolstered by the dot-com bubble, many startups were promising a lot of new exciting technological novelties to soon enter the market. There was this whole thing going on with a lot of prototypes that were supposed to be presented with the adequate amount of funding, and we see a lot of examples of this during the era. And I have to say that these gadgets were a perfect emblem of the times for multiple reasons. Visually, they display that design and look so in tune with trends. Fiscally, they are a symbol of a dot-com times and its subsequent fall, and conceptually, they represent the belief of investors in the technologically futurist utopian
This is
craze
gorgeous.
that was financially unviable and that never really materialized. Sadly, most of the startups failed miserably, which actually brings us perfectly to another point, which is 8. The demise. As we all
If you want
know,
to hear this,
nothing good lasts long. I need to stretch a little bit. So why did Y2K end? A couple of things affected this. On one level, well, just like any other trend, it's simply because of
it never ended. It's still
becoming
going on my
outdated.
heart.
Some of the fault lies in how total and how visually demanding the aesthetic was in order to be correctly realized. And let me tell you what I mean by that. 1. The forms present within the Y2K were geared by its very design to cultivate the visions of faraway future. By its very definition, they weren't timeless. And as it usually is with contemporary design, the more crazy, the more risk-taking, out there schemes of visual language, the quicker it ages. The bolder the design, the shorter the lifespan. 2. The overall form relied on absolutism of its presence, meaning Y2K look relied on total minimalism and specific form of light exclusively. I often say that the quickest way to define aesthetic is to see what is not there. The things that will mess it up is what the style safeguards itself from. With this style, it only works if everything else is equally either minimal or futuristic. You never see anything displayed that doesn't belong to the style, nothing that reminds you of the naturalness or organic randomness of form that happens in life. It is an all-enclosed composition. The less it lived in, the better looking. That's why it works so well in movies and music videos, but not so much in, say, home or hotel settings. This hotel room, for example, looks great strictly because it is empty. Imagine a typical guest coming here and doing typical guest stuff, and packing bags, leaving crap on the counter, or anything of the sort. Immediate damage to the look. That's why this style is so difficult to maintain and so prone to be obsolete very quickly. Even on the architectural scale, when we look at CADs from the era, all the visuals, as I said before, weren't designed with any user experience in mind. No real-life human feedback, and no taking into account how people operate in these spaces, which in turn alters the design via people's needs. These are more artistic monuments than functional architecture. Purely impractical architecture ages like milk. That's
This was like a socionics form. This is, I feel like beta NFs thrived in this era. Like the EIEs was going crazy. This was like an EIE era. That the he said the lack of practicality. They was ignoring SITE. They was using FE and NI. They saw futuristic visions, and they were trying to impress people and like create an aesthetic that created an impression of like futurism. This was like a FENINE era for sure.
That's just how it is. And I'm not saying the Y2K architecture was impractical in general, but a big part of the project certainly was. Same thing with the reliance on the lighting. What is interesting is how the use of lighting hue is so crucial in Y2K. Have you noticed this? That literally everything, and I mean absolutely everything, is always presented in those white and blue tints of light, even the lived-in spaces. This is one of the things about it. The cold light is absolutely a must for Y2K, to the point where the light is constantly artificially tampered in post-production to achieve this look. I can guarantee you that this living room cannot achieve this light on a daily basis. Unless you live in a place like, I don't know, Iceland, where there is cloudy weather 90% of the time, this style is visually unachievable because of its daylight. Give it a heavy yellow glow of sunlight of some southern country, and the ambience of futurist utility is completely erased. In the end, Y2K devolved in mainstream.
I wonder how it looks on a regular day, like some of these aesthetics. I wish they would show like pictures of like how it looks in regular light.
Design. The more funky, colorful Karim Rashid
But yeah, artificial light like dominated this shit. Like there's no natural light in it.
style trickled down into kids' market area, and high design
Spy
moved
Kids.
to more of a McBlink and pop cosmopolitanism of mid-2000s. On another level, the impact on the demise of Y2K stemmed from more serious reasons. 1. 2001 recession. When the streams of easy money endlessly pumped in unsustainable online businesses had finally dried out, the industry imploded and the dot-com bubble crashed in late 2000, leading to the downward slope in the economy. Many businesses closed and unemployment was on the rise again. The prosperity of late 90s ceased to exist. Number 2. 9/11 happened. Needless to say, this tragedy had sent shockwaves throughout the world and led to the declaration of war on terror, which brought an end to an era of utopian approach to people's sense of international security. And 3. Sustainability. Although often using the word organic to describe the biomorphic designs of the era, the term chiefly hinted at shades only. There was nothing organic in these designs in a way we understand organic today. Actually, it was the very opposite of organic. Favored materials being almost exclusively plastics, PVCs, fiberglass, polypropylenes, polyesters, etc. All of them highly unsustainable and most of them not recyclable. Back in the day, the case of environmental problems wasn't so widespread as it is now, but the increasing awareness in the times aged this style pretty quickly. By 2004, calling aesthetic organic felt insincere. So, seeing the economical, political, environmental aspects changing drastically during the turn of the millennium, things turned pretty gloomy. Our idea of chrome-clad techno-utopia quickly got humbled by the cold, harsh reality, and the whole concept quickly fell out of favor.
It still lives on in my heart.
To quote Mark Derry from 2002 ID magazine article, "The blob is so gay 90s, so pumpandump.com exuberance, so Apple iMac, so New Beetle, so Guggenheim Bilbo, so old chair, so over." Already the decade that begat the blob with its IPOs and its concept stocks, its errand chairs and brand cold dude
errand
seems
chairs.
worlds away from our moment. The anxious thoughts. These are days of anthrax scares and bomb-sniffing dogs, military tribunals and McCarthyite blacklists. The blob, that candy-colored polypropylene fetish object of the giddy, suddenly innocent time before 9/11, seems so jarringly out of tune with the new age of anxiety. So, my friends, this is how the
He's that nigga to say, it's over, we're on to the next shit.
Y2K, all along with its blobby happiness, was once and for all put to rest. 9. Conclusion. Alright, nostalgia aside, which, I'm not gonna lie, plays a huge part for me when it comes to this aesthetic, Y2K really was an interesting chapter in design history. When you really think about it, it was a last total aesthetic that ruled the world. So immersive with its narrative and with its absolutist grip on trends of the time. And I really liked it. I liked how total it was, you know? There was a brief moment where everything designer was in Y2K fashion. Buildings, interiors, clothes, media, cars, accessories, tech, and all the way to trinkets of everyday use. That's what I mean by saying total. Well, looking back at it, when you lived through it, it felt like you lived through an art movement. I mean, in hindsight, it's so cool to be able to say that. Last total aesthetic of this magnitude that defined every element of cultural outcome with such consistency was maybe, I don't know, Art Deco or Memphis? No, but not really though. Art Deco. Also, I don't think we will ever get to have such total global self-aware aesthetic anymore. We will only get deeper with the micro trends. There's just too many diverse things happening at once.
Yes,
We are simply not that centralized
Yeah,
anymore. But,
yeah.
you know, I might be wrong here. I hope I am. I would love to see another global mania for a style.
That
in a
would
way
be
that
fun.
Y2K
Oh,
is
that
covered.
was so
It
cool.
would have been nice. From a design history perspective, at least. Sorry, I'm being such a nerd now. I also liked it simply for how it cultivated the optimism and the utopia of the digital world. Before things went to, you know, shit. The key elements that will always instantly scream Y2K, for me at least, is the silvery tech, and pretty much everything in chrome finish, obviously, the sunglasses of the era, and the lamp design. These will forever define the coolness of the period for me whenever I look back at the history of aesthetics and history of design. Movies to watch: Men in Black, pure Y2K lifted straight from the best of the
Black.
design of 1970s. Spy Kids for a more
Spy
groovy,
Kids,
funky,
yeah.
kid-centered Y2K. The movie Simone, if you were interested more in this cyberbabe and digital avatar kind of thing going into
I'll watch
Y2K. The
that.
Minority Report for the typical kind of sci-fi thriller of the times. And if you want something more neo-Y2K vibe, try Passengers. The art direction is surprisingly good in a sense of that it revisits and updates the Y2K look and feel. Matrix, obviously. Now I know I haven't mentioned anything about Matrix specifically, and I suppose to because it's a video about Y2K, but this really is a material for another video in of itself. You know me, movie analysis on the agenda. Also, I would like to take a moment to thank Evan Collins and Froyo Tam, who are behind the famous and amazing Y2K Aesthetic Institute Tumblr. They are a pair of absolutely mind-blowing curators of the archives from the era. Thank you so much for making me rediscover my childhood obsessions and sending me down the rabbit hole of sweet, sweet nostalgia. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was long and it was full of many details that you may not otherwise have been interested in knowing, but
No,
they
I
are,
was very interested the
nevertheless
whole time.
important to understand the bigger picture of the Y2K. It's not just, silver cargo pants and TLC music videos.
That was excellent.
There was so much to it while I was researching, and I thought, I just wanted to do something more comprehensive. So
You did a
tell me,
great job.
what are your favorites about Y2K? Do you have anything favorite from the era? And what are those things? Please do drop me a comment below. I really want to know that. I love the era and I love knowing these things, what people liked, what they disliked about.
Okay, so my favorite digital era. My stand, my the things that came to my mind. This era was who keep Lost in Space was Black Elvis. Spice Girls, PS1 game. Smart House. Oh shit, Smart House. This new movie. LSD. PS1 game. What else did I mention? I think some Cheetah Girls maybe. Some. I think for the first Cheetah Girls. The first Cheetah Girls. The Cheetah Girls was like that. I don't know why I'm thinking Cheetah Girls. I'll leave that out for now. But Cheetah Girls has nothing to do with it. Oh, Young Lean Ginseng Strip. Chapter 2. Neo. Oh, it's okay. This was the closest we got to Utopia. I believe it will return this style to heuristic in eternal free video. Thank you. Cool.
Certain design periods. So let's talk about this. Also, I set up Twitter against my better judgment, so please follow me there. And yeah, let's see if the Twitter crowd will not eat me alive with the time to come. It's gonna be a great test of my character, I suppose. It was a pleasure. Bye.
This was a great video. This was awesome. So I gotta watch like Men in Black. I gotta watch that's the Moon movie. Yeah. Wow. That was a great video. It's like I had to that study means so much to me. Like it just yeah. It just means a lot to me. It really does. But shout out to synthetic because like synthetic is what really like draw like see I got the lavender Google. That doesn't mean much, but Synthetic really kind of drew me because she captures this thing like her stickers, her look at this. She's killing this shit. Look at this. The light purple, the grays. Look at that. She's keeping it alive. Look at that. Yeah, it's like a very realistic version of it, but look how she's standing. And Mirror's Edge, Mirror's Edge. I forgot to. Oh my god, how could I forget Mirror's Edge? Oh, how could? Oh, I closed it. Green Castle? Mm, no, that's not right. It's not right. It's not cool. It's not right. No, it's not. No. Oh my god. I'm bugging. Oh, window capture. There we go. Source. Yeah, it's good. Mm. Two. Oh, fuck. Anyway, um, YouTube. I just want to go back to synthetic and how he just inspired me to watch this video. Look at that. Like, she's just like killing it. But I forgot to put Mirror's Edge. Yeah, the glove, the white purple. She's look at this shit. The curves. She's killing it. She look at this. Look at her website. This website is so Y2K. Oh god, look at this. So Y2K, dude. Look at that. She's captured it. It's so nostalgic. Let me go back to which Jamiroquai killed it. Keep it on mute because I don't want the copyright. You know, this is so Y2K. But he was criticizing Y2K. He was like criticizing everything or artificial. And Y2K is very artificial. Let's go back to aesthetic and let's add Mirror's Edge was a huge thing that reminded me of this episode. I'm gonna put that like big. Alright, guys, thanks for watching. Oh, y'all can see what I'm doing. Why is it so big? Oh, what's going on? Doing? Yeah. So, mm, here's that cool key. The Spice Girls PS1 years my house. That's the PS1 Union Wayne Jackson. So that's I think. Yeah, that was the best aesthetic of all time. It hasn't been topped, and I hope it comes back. Certain people, certain musical artists are bringing it back. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'm out. Um, yeah. Y2K aesthetic is the best aesthetic of all time. I'm gonna bring it back as much as I can. I think it's timeless. Like it's timeless in the sense that we haven't gotten there yet. That's utopia. That has always been the design language for utopia ever since. So peace out. Have a good night, guys.